obviously a high-level basketball game, and I didn't think we played very well offensively, which created – we were inconsistent. I shouldn't say we didn't play well. We were very inconsistent how we played on offense. But that's more on me than the kids. They've played man-to-man 94% of total possessions on the year, and they went to that zone. In that zone, we didn't spend enough time preparing for that. We did, but we didn't spend as much time as we needed to. And that zone made us start standing around on offense, and it took our aggressiveness away that we had early in the game. And then we finally started attacking it in the second half and built the lead, and then just they made some hard shots. That's what they do, but we also had some bonehead offensive plays and hand checks that give them free throws. But how about that last possession of the game? Because everyone looks at Chris and they're paying attention to his numbers. Mike switches the ball screen, which is what we called. Bryce Brown, if you back up, is going to shoot the basketball. So Mike stayed up, which made Bryce drive, which is what we talked. Chris is guarding Chuma in the opposite corner. It's a one-point game, so you can't, not help. You have to help because the layup beats you. And he comes off in his rotation. That's his job. We call it trapping the box. Traps the box. Keyshawn Bryant does what freshmen do, freezes. So now he doesn't rotate to Chuma. He stands. And Brown makes the right play, makes the pass to Chuma. So Chris, who was guarding there to start, came over to stop the dribble penetration, ran back out to contest the corner three, and you guys pay attention who got the defensive rebound? Same guy. That's why when he's on the floor, it gives us a chance to win because of plays like that. That's not a stat. That's not going in the stat line. Like, wow, what a great player. That's like real. That's doing his job, covering a freshman that just froze. That's why coaches lose sleep with freshmen, and still making the play to win the game. So it's I'm really happy for him, and I'm really proud of our guys.
Frank, could you run us through the play that got Hasse open in the corner for the three? And then just with him specifically, how much have you seen his confidence grow since that Florida game?
Yeah, I put him in the game because I knew I wanted to run this action we ran that we like to run, and I was going to involve Hassani and Chris in it. And Hassani's read in the action is either shoot, coming off that pin down the middle of the floor, drop it on Chris if he's got a good seal. Auburn did a hell of a job. They didn't give Chris the duck in, and they crowded Sani. And I had put Felipe in the game because he can shoot. So now you put him in the corner, so Sani has that whole right side to drive. And it's at the end of the day, it's kids having to make decisions. Sani drove. He could have been selfish and tried to shoot the ball, but he trusts. They made the mistake of helping off Felipe, so he makes the right play. And then obviously Felipe, who – making shots is something where you need repetitions. And he hadn't gotten a shot off, I don't think, the second half, other than a couple tip-ins or whatever. And for him to have the courage to be ready and let it go and put it in the net, that's a credit to all those kids. They executed what was called, and then they made the right decision within the play.
Frank, after that LSU game, how much do you think Chris really needed a game like this one tonight?
Yeah, here's the great thing about Chris. He wasn't good, and neither was our team. And some guys would pout and mope, and he took responsibility for it. And he came out and practiced. Sunday we practiced really hard. Like I took the foot off the pedal a little bit going into LSU because if you count today, that's 4 games in like 9-10 days or something like that. So I took the foot off, and you got to travel twice in between. So I took the foot off the pedal in practice leading into LSU, and we played that way. And so Sunday, I didn't care. We lost today because we were tired. I was okay with it. But we weren't going to go out there and get out of people's way. And Chris was phenomenal. He played like a guy that only played 6 minutes or whatever he played. He had a lot of energy, and He never. Here's another thing about him: never comes out of practice. We had 2.5 hours on Sunday. Never came out of practice. He was in every drill, every 5-on-5. Never came out of practice. And we had a good practice Sunday. And then we came back yesterday and went for another 2 hours and went pretty hard again. And thank God we're off tomorrow. So, but he's got to be on the court, to help us win games. When he's on the court, we've been saying this for the last 2 years. He's on the court, he helps us, and he's playing. When he stays on the court, he does so many things that don't come up on stat sheets to help us win. I'm really. Chris is an unbelievable kid, and he's loyal to his core, and I'm really, really happy for him.
Coach, your second win over a top 25 opponent here at home. Is this really just another win, or what does this performance do for you guys, given how LSU went, just the back and forth with Auburn in that second half? Was this just really another win? Can you describe, I guess, this win for your team?
Just growth, man. It's just, at the end of the day, I just want to see us continue to grow. That's when you're at South Carolina, you should be playing against ranked opponents. If we're not playing ranked opponents, then we're not doing a very good job. We played ranked opponents in non-conference schedule. We weren't able to win those games, but we didn't run away from the challenge. We grew up. We took ownership. Those losses forced a bunch of first-year guys to understand reality, number one, and number two, how important it is that they're responsible for one another. It forced Chris and Hassani and Mike. How about Mike Kotsar, by the way? He turned his ankle pretty bad in practice yesterday. Last night, I had no chance to play. And he came to shoot around today. He says, I'm going to give it a go. And he wobbled around and shoot around. And he went out, and I had no idea how, I really don't know how he played. I went home last night. I was like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe that another injury, It's but he gutted it out. He goes, we're off tomorrow. It's going to hurt after the game. It is what it is. But that's leadership. Those young kids now, what do you think one of those young kids is going to do when their ear hurts or something like that? Because that's what young kids do. I got dandruff today. I don't know if I can practice. It's them young kids are going to be hard to not go out there and give it a go when a guy like him went out there and played. I'm proud of our guys. But I walked in the locker room and a couple of our young staff members, they were like all jacked up because we beat a real good team. And I was like, stop. We made some bonehead plays that allowed them to almost beat us. Be proud, but we got to go on the road. Last time we went on the road, we took a 30 spot. We got to go on the road, man. Not time to celebrate. Too many freaking games left. But be proud. Be proud that even though we made some of those bonehead plays, we had the courage to figure out a way to win. And so it's another game. It's a real good win against a real good team. The team that won our league last year and basically has their whole team back with the exception of one guy. So it's a real good win for us.
Frank, you mentioned a lot of times last year the need for a closer and finishing games. You lost a lot of games by single digits where a play here or there down the stretch you win. You're 4-0 now in SEC in games decided by single digits. What's been a big difference? Is it something game to game? I think tonight you held them without a field goal the last 4 minutes, or is it something more collectively in those games, a theme you're seeing?
Hassani was forced to learn a lot last year. Sometimes you're growing up, but you don't get the results that you want. You're learning and getting better, but you don't get the results that you want. He went through last year through all that. So he's got himself into a place where he plays with a lot of confidence now because he embraced all that. He didn't run away from it. AJ, how about AJ committed 5 hand check fouls today? That's the stuff that drives me crazy, And he didn't play well on offense today. That zone made him passive. I've got to figure out a way to help him attack zones and not just stand around and watch. But that's the journey when you deal with freshmen that you fight, because it is what it is. But here's the thing I'm the proudest of. Last year, we would come out of timeouts and we wouldn't execute. Wouldn't execute. Sometimes Booker would bail us out because he'd hit a bomb three, and everyone says, "Wow, what a great!" Yeah, it's not what we called. This year we're actually executing what's called. We executed at Florida. We executed at Vanderbilt. We executed against Missouri coming down the stretch. Once again, we executed today. And you couple that when you do those things at the end of games. Here's what happens when you execute. Because you do it in practice, players tend to have more confidence in the moment because it's not like just draw something on a napkin and just improvise and go do whatever. So there's a confidence from an execution standpoint. And then defensively, we committed some handshake fouls that put them on the line, but I thought we played pretty good defense today. They're a hard guard, man. They got some shooting dudes, and we're up 10. And we had back-to-back great defensive possessions. And they made two hard shot. And it gave them life. And then we had back-to-back bonehead offensive possessions, which allowed we lose Brown on a three, and then I want to say it was a pick and pop, which gives them the lead. But we're executing. We're coming out of timeouts and we're running what's called. We're setting good screens. We're being aggressive, and that comes from confidence because guys do it in practice.
Kind of cycling back to Chris for a second. Trey said earlier this week that when he's not on the floor in foul trouble, it really shows on the defensive end because there's not someone that can help if a guard gets by him. Was tonight kind of what you expect defensively from your team with Chris on the floor? And how do you feel like you played holding, I guess, the number 11 offensive efficiency team to 77 points tonight?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I thought defensively, I thought we were pretty good. Our offense, they scored 77. I'm not off turnovers. What'd they score? 15. So that was bad offense. And points off turnovers doesn't include bad shots. Like Trey Campbell shot that ball 1 against 3 from 30 feet. You know what I'm talking about? And it's an easy 3 on the other side. You can't do that, So we had some bad shot selections that Keyshawn took a couple of real bad shots. And every time you take a bad shot against a team like Auburn, it's jailbreak going the other way, and there's nothing you can do. But I thought defensively we defended pretty good. They're a difficult guard, but. I don't know. Did I seriously? I'm like took a nap. Did I answer your question? Chris and Mike, Chris and Mike have played together for 3 years. When they're on the court, our defensive efficiency numbers are way up. When one of them is on the court, our defensive efficiency numbers are okay. When both are out, our defensive efficiency numbers are no good. And it's because the way we defend. You guys watch us play. People don't run cross screen, down screen. People don't run all that stuff against us. We don't let you run that stuff. So what do people do against us? They try to space us and they ball screen us. And those two guys are real good in ball screens. Their coverages are good. Their understanding is good. And when they're in the game, they allow our defense to be better. And they both protect the rim too. Think about Chris. All his fouls are usually grabbing and pushing. They're never block charge plays. They're never unblocked shots. He's really good protecting the rim. That's where we have to continue to work.